Okay, this is gonna be a quick video. It's about the time that I hung out with a couple guys in Korn. But I figured since I was gonna do the video, I might as well go over a couple of the photos I got with other rock stars. So here's me and Jeff Hanneman from Slayer. I think it was 1990 that I met him. We had all gone down the San Diego Sports Arena for I think the Clash of the Titans or some. It was Testament, Slayer, Megadeth, and Judas Priest. Right. That was the lineup. It was the San Diego Sports Arena. Interesting side note about this is Megadeth had previously been booked down at a place called Iguanas in TJ, Mexico. And the booking agent was somebody that my band knew very well. She used to book us at the Spirit Club all the time. So she knew about us. And we were actually not officially booked with Megadeth, but she told us when I booked the opening bands for this show, I'll book you guys. The band was called Espionage. So my band was supposed to open up for Megadeth, and then this big tour package came along, and Megadeth had to their management canceled that gig in Mexico, and went on tour with the bands that I just mentioned. So kind of kind of fucked my band out of that gig. That would have been awesome, but such is a memory I never had because of that. So anyway, this was in the back of the sports arena. We see Jeff Hanneman just wandering around like he's no big deal, like he's not famous or something, because it was right when Slayer was starting to get really big and starting to play big places. So there was Jeff Hanneman, not quite aware that he was really that famous or something. He was just wandering around back there, and me and like three of my friends. It was kind of, it wasn't like a whole lot of people. It was, a few out, like an hour, a couple hours, 2 to 3 hours before the show. It just turned dark, and we're all, hey Jeff, what's going on? And so can we get your picture? A couple guys asked for autographs. So I had my nephew's girlfriend snap this picture of me. I got one with her and Jeff, and my nephew got one. But that was the night of the show with Testament, Megadeth, Slayer, and Judas Priest. It was a great show. Anyway, the other time, this is, of course, you probably recognize him, Steve Harris. I probably saw Maiden 4 times coming through San Diego, so this was just on one of those occasions where we waited out back, and they were gracious enough to meet all the fans. And so that's my picture with Steve Harris. I'm, of course, on the right, Harris on the left. I did pass him my demo tape that I had out at the time, and I don't know what he thought of it, but he did take it. Now on to Korn. First of all, here's my singer. That's Greg. And in the background, you see, that's me back there playing the bass. You can see my my blue P bass. I just wanted to establish that because Greg, the singer, used to hang out with Jonathan Davis at Korn. And so this only proves my proximity to Korn. It doesn't prove that I actually hung out with the band, but I did. I'm not lying about it. And how it came to be was probably about 6 to 8 months before Korn got a record deal. They were coming down to San Diego. From what I heard back then, I was told Long Beach. They were based in Long Beach. I don't know if that's true or not. Maybe that was just a rumor. But they were coming from somewhere up north of our location, and they were playing this little club that we used to play. My other band, Sanity's Void, used to play. Who Greg there on the left sang for. The same club that we were playing, they were coming down and playing. It was called a Dream Street in I think it was at Pacific Beach, California. It was in San Diego County, and it was a pretty cool club, but it wasn't a huge club. And I remember that Greg had their demo. I guess he saw them play there, and he picked up their demo, and we listened to it in his truck, and I was like, oh, that's pretty interesting stuff. And he said, yeah, they're playing like next weekend, next Saturday, and he invited me to go, so I did go. So I saw Korn before they had gotten a record deal. They were pretty much playing all the songs that you hear on the first album, which I did pick up when it came out. My only recollection was that I was very impressed with Korn. They had a new sound going on. It was kind of like an alternative metal kind of a sound. And where my story goes about hanging out with Korn was, it was like any other gig. A band shows up with their vehicles and they got their stuff outside, and it's not quite time to load in. And I knew who they were, and Monkey and Head were just hanging out by this. It was kind of an older car. They had thrown like a half stack in the back, and I don't know, maybe a half stack in the back seat and one in the trunk. And they were just like hanging out by the car, and I just kind of walked over there, thinking that these guys could be a big deal someday. And so Monkey and Head are hanging out, kind of sitting on the back of their car with the trunk open, looking at their cabinet, not ready to move it yet. And I just started hanging out with them, saying, ask them questions. And one of the questions was, and the answer to this question has been answered in interviews, and there's a discrepancy. And my question to them was, so what does Korn mean? Is there any significance to that? And I can't remember. I think Monkey looked at Head and looked at me. One of them said, I thought it was Monkey that said to me, "It's just a name, man." And these guys were like really low energy. Like I think they were on like Quaaludes or something. They seemed to be on something. They were just or really tired, or just, they were just very, very mellow dudes. Now when the show started, of course, they were hopping all over the stage, but they were very, very mellow. And that was the answer that I got, that Korn didn't mean anything, and that it's just a name, man. That's what they told me. Now I've read interviews since then where they were asked that question, and perhaps it's because they got millions of fans now that it's not really a good answer to say it doesn't mean anything. That's my theory. That they just come up with what sounds good now because, hey, they got an audience. But that's the honest to God truth. I hung out with Korn, asked them what Korn was all about, where they came up with that name, what it meant, if anything, and I was told that it didn't mean anything. So there you have it.